Dr. Juliet Breeze and April Gillam are executive leaders at Next Level Urgent Care, driving the growth of a leading physician-led urgent care network. Juliet, founder and CEO, is a physician entrepreneur, while April serves as Chief Operating Officer, bringing deep expertise in operational strategy and organizational leadership. Together, they are an inspiring duo, championing high performance across urgent care and always breaking the mold. Welcome to DX the Podcast, Juliet and April.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Yeah, I can't wait to dig in. It's been a joy to just kind of talk a little bit in advance of today's podcast and get to know you both a little bit more. And really an honor, because the work that you both do and have done over the years is really inspiring to so many. So can't wait to elevate your voice today on DX, the podcast. And really, you kind of each come from a unique vantage point. And as we think about kind of the inflection point that we're at in the industry, I'd love to hear each of you kind of in your own words talk about how you're, personally choosing to challenge that traditional urgent care model, and maybe talk about the gaps or opportunities you see, maybe things that kind of keep you up at night, what's going on, for better or for worse in the urgent care space. So go ahead and let me know where you're at.
Well, I think that when you look at urgent care, it has changed and evolved so much over a very short period of time. Honestly, since COVID, I think we have all sort of had to turn around and realize that we're not in this same industry that we were in for a while. So, when I started in the urgent care space, it was, very seasonal, but very predictable in its seasonality.
Sure.
And then once we hit COVID, the world changed. And at the same time, we got a lot of interesting things happening with AI.
Mm-hmm.
And it has changed the competition in the marketplace.
Sure.
We now have competitors we didn't even conceive of, like ChatGPT as a competitor to traditional urgent care. And so, I think the things that that inspired me to reimagine what the structure that we built, the organization that we built, could be used for. It was really that the changes that happened in the industry really promoted a new line of thought, and we developed a membership, which has really taken off as a direct-to-employer solution that utilizes all the best things about what we're doing.
Yeah, so kind of taking the whole context, and
yes.
So fascinating to think that it's just been a few short years,
just
actually,
a couple of years,
and how rapidly the changes have started to kind of really percolate up throughout every aspect of the industry. Wow, yeah.
I think for me, I've seen this industry evolve so much in the 13 years of my career, but I've actually watched this industry evolve my whole natural lifetime. My mom was one of the first urgent care physicians in Dallas-Fort Worth for Baylor before it was Baylor Scott and White. And so it's been really unique to watch this industry really, really evolve. And, interestingly, I got to watch Next Level evolve because I'm local to Houston.
Yeah.
So this feels very 360 for me.
Yeah.
And uniquely, I think over the last 5-6 years, I was at a healthcare technology company. And so I was able to see a broad base of some of the largest players in the U.S. And, margins have really eroded so much for urgent care players across the country. And so it's been harder for them to keep the pace of what they need to do to be profitable and to be successful. And when we erode being successful ourselves as providers, then actually access to care declines.
Right.
And so you asked what keeps us up at night. And that is actually the thing that keeps me up at night is meeting consumer expectations, but also, globally, or not globally, but in the US, our cost of care is reaching 20% of our GDP, yet our life expectancy is going down. And so, a big part of what will actually make both of those things get better is access to care on a consumer level, and having the right care at the right time in the right place, and doing it in a way that works for the consumer and works for the provider and works for the people that work for us.
Yeah, that's so fascinating to hear about the convergence of like your personal story with your professional story, and how that has kind of transcended your entire view of what is urgent care, what can it do, really filling the gap, right? We think about the primary care shortage in America. You talk about the cost of care and really the life expectancy. Like, where is the reality of healthcare today, right? And how can we step into those gaps? That's, incredible. All right. So Juliet, you mentioned that membership concept. So I want to take a few moments to kind of zero in on that, because I think you all have done a lot of really, groundbreaking work in that area. So this is really, in my opinion, probably what sets Next Level apart. Walk us through what that Prime, membership looks like, how you got it off the ground, maybe some marketing techniques, and really what was that initial reaction from consumers across Houston? So kind of lay the groundwork, kind of tell us the story.
So the story really starts right before COVID times. I started really thinking about how reliant we were in the fee-for-service urgent care world on the flu season, and how scary it was that there was a lot of science happening. And, we are pretty much one really good flu vaccine away from having a very different business.
Sure.
And so I started getting really intrigued. We had been doing some work with an on-site clinic. We took over the running of an on-site clinic for a county. And at that time, I was very intrigued by the model, because it allowed us to provide care for free to the employees of this county. And our staff didn't have to worry about talking about money with patients at all.
Over and over again.
We didn't have to say, well, you need this lab, but it's going to be X, and have patients say, well, I can't afford that. We didn't have any front desk hassles. No one had to talk about what they owed. And
imagine a world.
It was so beautiful. And I thought, oh my gosh, how do we do this outside of this specific company with this clinic? And I was kind of thinking about, okay, I've got all of these locations. How can I do this on a broader basis? And then COVID hit. We ended up, because of COVID, opening our own central lab. We also hired an emotional wellness counselor for my own staff, because there was a lot of fear associated with COVID, and we were using that person for our own staff for counseling. As we emerged, and of course, everybody learned how to do telemedicine.
Right.
So as we emerged from COVID, I realized we have all of the pieces of a beautiful advanced primary care model. All we have to do is somehow put this together in some way. So nobody wanted to do it with me. So I ended up using my own company as the guinea pig. And I basically went to my employees, and I put a certain amount of money per employee per month aside. And I said, okay, anything we do, meaning like preventive care, primary care, urgent care, the labs, immunizations, durable medical equipment, health coaching, and mental health, any of that you and your family can get for free. If it goes outside of that, we still have insurance. And now insurance is being used for what really insurance was intended for in the first place, which is things you don't expect to need or use. So we did that for 1 year, and we found that we had about a $500,000 savings on my employee group, because we were self-funded. And so we just didn't spend $500,000 that we had spent the year before.
Wow.
I was so amazed, and I thought, okay, this can't just be a fluke. This may be real. So I started going out and talking to employers about what had happened with us, and asked them if they wanted to also try. We got a couple of really big employers that wanted to take the plunge. It was hard work to get those initial employers, because what I didn't understand, having always been on the medical side of things, I didn't understand how the world of brokers and really consultants, brokers, that whole industry, TPAs, I didn't understand how it worked. So when I went to the employers, they would say, well, that sounds really great, but you need to talk to our broker. And then I would get sort of put in broker purgatory for a while. But now we have found, the evolution of the idea has been really amazing. So those early customers had a similar experience to what happened with us. And more employers were finding out about it.
And more stories
brokers were beginning to believe in what we were doing. And now this year has been really incredible. We're up to 130,000 members.
That is incredible.
And about, I think it was I never remember how many organizations are using us now, but I think it's
590.
590,
Yeah.
I think.
Incredible.
And so, it's a lot of different employers and organizations using us, and it's been
and all different sizes and scales.
all different sizes and scale. Our smallest company is 5 employees, and our largest company is 17,000.
Wow.
And so it's been a really fun journey and really neat to see what has happened, which is employees are super happy. We have great NPS scores. Employers are thrilled because they're saving money and they're retaining employees who now have free basic health care.
Well, and you can imagine that is certainly a benefit that they can use in the recruitment process.
Yes, exactly.
No question.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so, and I think to April's point, we have improved cost and access for people. And I think that just it's just a feel good. Like we feel so good about what we're doing.
Well, and when you've been in the industry long enough, to your point already, made, there is so much lack of access.
Totally.
And so many issues with getting the right patient to the right place at the right time. And this is like the crux of just determining, let's get the right patient to the right place at the right time. And then also make sure that the finances make sense with that as well.
Exactly.
Because we can try that all day long, but if people are not able to afford the services or employers are unable to, provide the right type of healthcare because they just can't simply afford it themselves, everybody's losing that.
Well, and that's exactly right. And, as you know, more patients are having to pay most of their bill anyway, even if they have great insurance.
Right.
And so they're making the choice to not get care based on a financial problem that they have. And one of the things that has been super exciting for us is to see the statistic that when we ask the question of our members, if you had not had this membership, where would you have gone today? And we used that question because we wanted to show how many people were not going to the ER.
Yeah.
But in fact, what we figured out was 32% of our patients would have gone nowhere. And that
think of the
is like,
repercussions.
oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That is an incredible story. I love the foundation of it all was kind of recognizing the pieces in place, recognizing the problem and saying, how do we now move forward with what we have? I mean, your resources that you had access to and just kind of orchestrating it. That's incredible. Well, I guess talking about orchestration. So I think this is where you definitely come in, April, with all of your experience in the industry so far and really now leaning into this next level Prime model. Talk us through kind of the operationalization and growing this kind of multi-channel, is it 24/7 access kind of approach and kind of how do you do all that without breaking your cost structure?
Yeah. Well, and what's amazing, I just want to comment on one of the things that you just said.
Yeah.
I recently heard actually today that, somebody who is a colleague of ours and a very large entity had to shut down 35 clinics. And it broke my heart because I thought, what is happening to those communities with 35 clinics closing? And what would have happened, because we're in a very seasonal business, if the employers around those clinics had a program like this and those communities wouldn't have lost access to care. They actually would have gained access to care. And that was my immediate thought.
It's a complete flip of the switch of like, how do we think about the care we're providing?
Yes. And so that's why, in coming to Next Level Medical and being able to see all the things that I could see, which was a lot of people opening clinics and some of them having to close because they couldn't sustain themselves. That's why I was so excited. And Juliet and I both love the book Good to Great.
Oh,
and
awesome.
And they talk a lot about the flywheel concept in Good to Great. And so I feel like I came in right as this flywheel is starting to run really, really hard. And when you're scaling at every single point, you have to look at people, process, and then product, which is a lot of times your technology, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really what I'm doing. I'm coming in at every layer and looking at it that way and saying, okay, what worked for us when we had 10 employers? That doesn't work at 590.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, there are so many great processes, people and products in place that just need some tweaking, or maybe they do need some like replacement of certain processes because they worked at 10, but they don't work at 590. And so that is what I'm really focused on is getting the right people in place, getting the right processes in place, and, really partnering with cross-functionally internally, and then also with some partners that we have externally to get the right products in place.
Yeah. So just really to orchestrate not only that patient experience, but also just the operational side and all the pieces that need to fall into place and recognizing where does our work start and where does it end, and when is it time for that patient to move on. All right, there's so much to think about, but
and
exciting too.
The thing that I also say is, the people who work within your organization, whether it's your healthcare providers, your clinicians, or, we have a lot of people who work as virtual assistants and things like that. They're consumers too.
Yeah.
And so how do we make every single click or experience the easy, simple, right thing to do, so that, again, we have care navigators, we have that patient experience, the radically delightful care that they deserve, right? And it's the simplest form of care. Sometimes it's not even meeting a clinician because we have something that's, skip a visit.
Right.
And so that's what we're really focused on in our communications, in how that they experience our app, all of those things.
It's like at every turn, considering the right patient to the right place at the right time in the right, form of connection for them. Like you mentioned, it's not always a clinical visit. It's a conversation or a quick answer to a question. So I love that approach because it's right where healthcare needs to go.
Well, and when you're not in a fee-for-service world, you've already been paid. You want patients to feel that easy access.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter if it's just a chat or nobody has to, no financial transaction is happening with that. It's just natural.
Because as you mentioned right from the start, it always gets messy when all the finances.
So messy.
It's like we just wish we could, flip a switch and say, take away all of this chaos from what patients experience and what clinicians experience in healthcare.
Yeah.
So.
It feels bad for everyone.
I know. Oh, well, we're going to finish with a game today. Are you all ready for a game?
We're ready.
Okay.
We got this.
All right. So today's actually 1 year of DX the podcast. It's kind of our celebratory. So we want to kind of make sure that all of our conversations are reflecting on, the past year and the industry as at large. So with that, we feel that the two of you have a lot of context to bring. So I'm going to say just kind of a concept or a phrase, and either one or both of you can respond with kind of what your hot take is on that concept or phrase. So here we go. You ready?
We're ready.
All right. Okay. Extended hours, holidays.
Schedule based on your patient demand. Use your data.
Oh, okay. That's a great, very important. Data is king. Yes. Cash pay instead of insurance first.
I think everything is cash pay these days because, with the high deductibles, there is no real insurance. Everyone is functionally uninsured.
Yeah. It's a changing landscape for sure. Transparent upfront pricing.
You got to do it.
Yeah. There's no question. Right. We're living in an age where we can check, the status of our orders, plus is something in stock? Is it not? I'm going to price check from here to there.
Exactly.
NPS.
I love NPS. I love it because it's such a great way to compare, us against others and us to the industry. And it gives our staff something to shoot for. I really enjoy the NPS.
My hot take is that yes, NPS. However, Google.
I see a different direction there.
Google reviews are what your consumers make their choices on. And Google reviews are your consumer funnel to acquire patients and also reloop them. And so I like to index more on Google reviews because often a patient will get both at one time and we'll do one and not the other.
That's correct.
So I tend to index more to Google reviews.
Interesting. So different purposes maybe. For
exactly.
each.
Right. I'm selling to other people and so I like the NPS. She's selling to customers. And
there we go.
Google,
so leverage for the appropriate. All right. Traditional marketing like print and TV ads.
Well, I think we also have two different views on this because I'm so focused on the membership and there is no traditional marketing for something that's new.
That is handshakes and conversations.
It is just the good old fashioned relationship building.
Face to face with people.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, your consumers are going to the internet. I'm a mom with 2 kids. I'm the core demographic for fee-for-service urgent care. And we're always going to the internet, checking the Google reviews. So I think it's really important that you do most of your spend on the internet now. And at the same time, if you're entering a new market and you don't have brand awareness, some of that traditional marketing is important. So it's important that you're strategic with your marketing spend and that you're tracking every dollar for ROI.
So it's dependent on your location, your strategy, entering the market versus in the market. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Use of AI across the patient journey.
Got to do it. That is the way of the world at this moment. And I think one of the things that we both agree on is that it it is not a good idea to do it as like point solutions. We really both believe that it should be a platform-wide.
The whole experience.
We do think that.
Yeah. Primary care within the urgent care setting.
Okay, so my take on that is that it can be done if it is done properly, and the way to do it properly is to not make complex, chronically ill patients talk about their stuff in the clinics. So we use our virtual setting,
leverage the other modalities,
we have a lot of programmatic things that make patients feel very cared for and very listened to, but not on an exam table in the clinic. Because once you start doing that, it all falls apart. And so that's my take.
That's great. Absolutely. Aesthetics.
You can talk about aesthetics.
I think that at the end of the day, nobody wants to I get a touch of Botox every once in a while, and I don't want to get a touch of Botox next to a screaming laceration patient.
Also love it.
And so I think we need to stick to medicine and not aesthetics. I think that that's the best business case for us, because I don't think it would ever be a truly profitable service line.
It's interesting because it's like you're blurring the lines of the experience, let alone the offering of what you're providing. So it's like it's confusing even for the patient then.
I always felt like it was a little bit, it just made me feel more like a doc in a box versus like the
perception.
I wanted people to take us seriously as medical providers. However, I was telling April, like in this day and age when, your margins are shrinking. I don't hold it against anyone for trying anything that they want to try to, advance different revenue streams.
And with your experience in the industry, what you've kind of watched transpire so far, et cetera. Absolutely.
So go for it if you want to do it.
Front loading diagnostics.
Have to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. It's a given.
It's a thing. Yes.
Yes. Well, and this one might be interesting because we talked a bit about NPS, but overall provider scorecards.
Oh, we think that they're very important.
Yeah. And visibility.
Everyone wants to know how they're doing. Everyone, and that whole feeling of being appreciated or even where you need to work harder on. I mean, I hate it when I go to payers and say, what can we do better? And they're like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then pay me your highest rate.
You're right. There we go. Thank you. I will take it.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, this has been really fun.
Yeah.
So grateful to have you all on DX the podcast. And I hope we get to connect again soon and talk more about what you're doing in the industry.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for having us, and congratulations on a year.
Thank you.